all building will come down. Oh boy, I gotta say, what a fun weekend EA has given us. I mean, holy shit, they pulled in more players than Call of Duty ever has.
But what the hell, boy?
I mean, that is insane. And it goes to show that EA can pull their weight with their games when they're not greedy and they actually show appreciation for their fan base. I mean, if you're like me and you look for game leaks, then you've been seeing leaks for this game for like the past 3 months around there. And let me tell you, it has not sounded good. I mean, fuck, I've been hearing that it's in a development crisis. I've been seeing leaked cutscenes. I've been seeing leaked details, although not confirmed. They've never sounded too good, and people haven't been too pleased. But that, lo and behold, is definitely not what EA provided us with. Granted, it had its problems, but overall, I think Battlefield might be back. I mean, look at this destruction. Okay, let me stop digressing. Oh, God, look at it. Oh, God, it's so good. Okay, first off, let's talk about these maps. First off, I guess let's talk about Siege of Cairo. Very aesthetically pleasing map in my opinion. I've noticed throughout playing this beta that the destruction is kind of more scripted. And what I mean by that is there are certain parts of structures that cannot be destroyed and have no visual effects to them. And then there are certain parts of structures that will break into pieces, which I think are predetermined. And then those obviously have physics when they break apart, which then in turn leaves behind a pile of rubble for you to climb to the top stairs of something, or just for some immersion. But with Siege of Cairo, what I've noticed is that most buildings, the corners and just the faces on one side are destructible. You will have the last of a lifetime. Have all of you and your buddies run engineer and just go to sea with a tank. Who knows? It worked for these guys until the whole entire enemy team decided to work together to blow it up. Overall, I think that Siege of Cairo has a good destruction rating. I think that there's a decent amount of destruction, but I definitely think there will be more in the full release, and I think that there is more on Liberation Peak. Next thing, I just gotta say, the flow of the map is really good, honestly. There's not just gonna be a ton of players condensed in one area for like a whole entire match fighting over one objective. There's enough objectives that everybody will keep shifting and the fights will keep going from this objective to this objective, and it actually happens faster than you would think. I'd say this map has more of a Call of Duty kind of pacing, especially if you try to flank and if you try to, you know, run around with a shotgun constantly and nothing else. And, you know, if you don't play like it's Battlefield, you don't play objective, then it's gonna feel like Call of Duty. Out of the 3 maps that were in the week 1 beta, this was the like middle medium-sized map, and I think it did a good job at that. Overall, I give Siege of Cairo a good. Oh god. I'm tired. Alright, let's talk about Iberian Offensive next. But wait, you see that guy in the chat? Yeah, he has a point. I noticed this game would use 80% of my GPU while using 100% of my CPU no matter what. And I have an RX 6600 graphics card with 6 gigabytes, and then I have a Ryzen 5500 CPU. And I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, and this game runs moderately fine. I had to use mostly low settings with some high settings just so it looked good for recording. I have a 100 Hz monitor, so I can only go to 100 FPS and feel the benefits. And there was spikes that went below 100, but most of the time it was fine until my VRAM would get overloaded, and then my game would lag so bad I would have to restart it, which happened around every 6 or 7 games, especially if I left mid-match. So if you are on the lower end of gear when it comes to CPU, then I would recommend an upgrade if you want to enjoy this game at full 1080p above 100 FPS with no issues. But let's get back to Iberian Offensive. I think the flow of the map usually follows this. Objective fucking C on Conquest is the nuttiest, craziest, most destructible fucking place ever. Balls to the wall, fucking tanks everywhere, RPGs, engineers repairing tanks, invincible tanks. Objective C on Conquest on Iberian Offensive is kind of just a free-for-all. It's like no man's land. I will say, as easy as it is to have 6 or 8 people get on a tank as engineers and repair it constantly, tanks are not invincible when it comes to the rocket launchers. If you shoot them from behind, it does 50 damage, which is half of their health. And then if you shoot an RPG shot anywhere near somebody and don't get a direct hit with them, then it does not kill them. And I feel like that's always been kind of a problem in Battlefield with splash damage, but I feel like it's a really big problem in this one. RPG splash damage, to be specific. I think other than Objective C on this map, the destruction isn't too abundant. Definitely not as abundant as it is in Siege of Cairo. But yes, Objective C on Conquest on this map is very destructive, and it's a very big building, and there's so many places you can run through. It's such a well laid out area. It makes for a lot of unintentional chaos. Out of all of the maps, like I said, there is different sizes, and this does happen to be the smallest one, but I will say I like it better than Siege of Cairo, but only because I like chaos and C is really chaotic. I'm sure that most people would definitely prefer Siege of Cairo over Iberian Offensive. I could be wrong, but it does have its problems. I mean, look at me and my team spawn camping the enemies. I was never able to do this on any other map. So with all of my personal bias out the window, I'm gonna have to say a bad but fun rating, unless you spawn next to E. Then it's just bad. I mean, look at this shit. Look at this graph. How can this be fun for somebody? And for the destruction for this map, I'm gonna have to give a decent rating, because it could be better, but it's not bad. I'd say the overall rating for this map is aight. Alright, now let's get on to Liberation. Oh, my bad. Liberation's in the name, it can't be America. This map is a weird mix of being a good map with good flow, minus the center where people snipe, and on top of that, also having really bad balancing between the jets and the infantry on ground, and the infantry on ground versus the people on ground, and the people on ground versus the infantry. Which I feel like these are all things that they're focusing on, and they've been vocal about it, so I'm hoping that all of these problems with this great map will be fixed by the time it comes out. Because there isn't much else to say about this map other than the destruction is good. Almost every building is fully destructible down to the base of the building. And the flow of the map when you're on the ground or in the air, or even in an infantry vehicle, sometimes the flow can be really good. And with that quick wrap up of Liberation Peak, I'm gonna have to give it a map rating overall of, hey, it's pretty good. So far, my overall thoughts of the game, very unexpected. From all the leaks, I was not expecting this to be what it was, and I think it has so much ridiculously big potential. I just really hope that they follow up on it. Have a good day, everyone.